this summer, we went out to Pittsburgh for a wedding, and so we were gone for the weekend, and we asked a friend to watch our dog. And we came back on Sunday, came home on Sunday, and asked how it had gone. We didn't have too many updates, and he said, "Oh yeah, it was good. It was no problem. It was good." And then he separately, quietly tells my boyfriend that our dog had cornered a groundhog in the yard and mouthed it until he yelled at her to let it go, and she did, and the groundhog scampered away. And I'm like, ooh, but didn't think too much of it. Dog sitter left, and we're out in the yard with our dog, and the groundhog comes back, and our dog beelines for it and chomps it gently, and we yell, and she lets it go, and throw the dog in the house, and are trying to figure out what to do. Groundhog is still in the yard, seems relatively fine, no worse for the wear. It has tucked itself behind our trash can and our recycle bin. And so I'm easing over towards the bins, hey, can you please leave? And I'm rattling the bins, thinking he'll get startled. And the yard, which is fenced in, has 2 gates. And there is space under both gates where he could absolutely escape. And I'm willing him to know these things when I rattle the recycle bin. He does not move. He shits himself in fear until I rattle them, I move them out of the way, and then he escapes across our patio. So he's still in the yard. And I'm looking at this groundhog poop well, I've got to pick it up. And so I go inside and I get a dog bag and I pick up the groundhog poop and I put it in the trash can, and then I'm okay, where is the groundhog now? And he's still in the yard. And he's crossed the patio and is behind our raised beds, our planters. And I just can't deal with it. I just can't. And I just go inside thinking he will find his way out. But instead of calmly waiting for him to find his way out, I just stand there and I get furious. Furious at this groundhog who has come into my yard that I own in my space, and now my dog can't go outside. And you have messed with the wrong lady. So it turns out when I get really anxious, I get really angry. And so all of this anxiety about this groundhog that I can't get out of my yard manifests into this fury. And I go in the closet and I get the broom and I'm you're getting out of the yard, man. And I go out, and the groundhog has made a home for itself in one of our back flower beds, and he looks like he has had the worst day of his life. He's floofed out on his back. He looks like he's having a hyperventilating panic attack. And I'm just get out, man, just get out. And he's I can't, I'm so scared, and I don't know what's gonna happen. So I take my broom, and I stab him in his little soft belly to tell him to get out of my garden bed, man. And he's oh, and he, rounds himself up and darts out. And I chased him all around the yard. He comes out of the bed, he goes across the grass, he's in the other garden bed, now he's on the patio walkway, now he's across the patio and around the garden beds again. And the whole way, I'm stabbing him in the stomach with my broom, like a crazy lady. And my boyfriend is holding this gate, this wide open gate, here, buddy, here you go. And he darts out of there. And I feel like I've run a fucking marathon. Chasing this groundhog, protecting my house. And we shut both gates, and we're well, how do we, obviously he got in under the gate. How do we prevent him from getting back? And so we take these logs from our wood pile and we stack them against the gate, which makes it terribly inconvenient to leave or enter the yard anymore for us as well as the groundhog. And we left them there for like a week. Like, don't get any ideas, don't come back here. And what I can tell you is we have not seen that groundhog since.